Wake scored 23 points in the final 8 minutes and change. I think 8 of those were second chance points. What was Wake able to do offensively late in the game that it had not been able to up to that point?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we, for the most part, played pretty hard defensively, but they made some plays down the stretch, and oftentimes, games come down to, I've said this before, can you go make a play on offense or defense, on the glass, offensive rebounding or defensive rebounding. And at times when we trapped the post, we did an okay job, and then they found some three-point shooters, and then when we tried to bluff and play one-on-one, they scored. So they had us in a little bit of a predicament that way. But again, I think they made some plays, and I thought we left a lot of baskets out there too. The ability to finish some of those when we had some layups, and then just a couple lapses, whether it was defensive rebounding or something at crucial times, was just enough. I mean, the reality is, I tell you guys, you just play as hard as you can for as long as you can, and when you've done that, you've been in possession games down the stretch, and then you got to try to be sound and make some plays. And again, Wake Forest certainly did a better job of that, and that was tough because we had some opportunities and played good stretches of basketball. I really like. He had 17 assists, moved the ball. And a couple times our guys had some rhythm looks and they didn't want to take them. So you keep working through that stuff and you keep battling.
Okay, great. You guys did a good job on Alondas Williams early. I think you had Franklin and maybe Beekman on him too at different times. What worked there early?
Yeah, I mean, I thought sometimes we trapped him, sometimes we didn't. We guarded him pretty well, didn't let him, get his way. But then he got some key offensive rebounds. You look at that, he had 5 offensive rebounds. And he's real explosive and quick off the floor, and then made a couple plays in the post, and that was significant. And again, the trap was on, it was off. He's hard to handle one-on-one at times. We did a good job, but we didn't come up when we got him to miss a shot. We didn't always come up with that rebound, and that's why offensive rebounds they're either life-giving or they're energy taking away or life taken away in terms of that possession, and then they get another chance. And again, you look at that, and I would down the stretch. That 17 second chance points, I'm sure a few of those came from that standpoint.
Jeff.
You had a long scoring drought in each half. It's that you referred to some of the baskets you left out there.
Yep. I think, we got some good looks. I thought a couple, we did. We got some solid looks. You just try to, I said, just pursue quality. Can you make them earn and get tough shots? And hopefully one shot, and then offensively, can you get some good looks? Can you get a rhythm shot or something at the rim? And a couple costly turnovers. That's for something where we got to be better. Again, 11 turnovers is not alarming, but there was somewhere just a little rushing. Jaden's having a little trouble rushing and losing the ball. And, we had a nice one. Caden had one and just didn't finish it. That, would have been tight in that game. Reese played hard. Again, all the guys had stretches where they played good basketball, but we had a costly turnover, and again, you're seeing some of the inexperience at times show up. But hats off to Wake Forest for making the plays down the stretch when we had them down 7, and then they tightened up their defense somewhat. Again, some of their doing, some of our doing, and they kept going at the glass and made the plays.
You mentioned Jaden just there. He had another kind of rough outing, especially the shooting numbers. Are teams more focused on him because of his early production? Is it his size? What are you seeing?
I think he's gotten some good looks, and sometimes he's losing the ball. There is a little more length. They're a big team, talented team, and that's a little different. But he's just got to keep working and figuring it out. This is probably he played in I believe a league and played against length, and that's where you use your stuff. But again, it wasn't. He got 14 shots, so they were there. And again, we'll have to look at the film and see what if there's any adjustments we can make. But like I said, it's not for a lack of effort for sure.
I think it was 6 for 23 on layups. You talked about the shots.
6 for 23?
I think that's what the
my.
stats said. So how much of that do you...
Thanks for sharing that. I'll see it in the film.
Sorry.
I told our staff after the game, I said, I felt like we left a handful of 6, 7, 8, 9 layups, but, and again, that maybe we're there. 6 of 23, that's, boy.
And I think they're a little generous sometimes, maybe what they call a layup.
Good.
So
we'll chalk it
I'll
up to
temper it with that. But how much of that do you just say, bad day, bad luck, stuff we got to work on, but we'll figure it out, or...
I thought we got a nice lift. Armand and Cody gave us a nice lift. They did a good job. They did, and moving and shooting and stretching it, and then we were moving them, and I thought we were getting some good looks. But you have to have a somewhat of a balanced attack, and I'll probably, before I can really kind of got to look at we work hard on our finishing because that has been an issue. We have had scoring droughts. We know that, and that's why I said you got to, it makes, again, that margin of error tightens up a little bit. So if you feel like, man, we either drew a foul and didn't get called or something, any little thing, it takes on a greater importance. But you just play through it and have, again, we'll be off tomorrow, have a couple good prep days, and get back at it.
Tony, you mentioned over here, other side.
You're a ventriloquist, or I can throw your voice. Yes.
So you mentioned just a second ago the margin for error being thin. It seems like inconsistency has become consistent in spots for some of the guys. They have these moments where they tease you out, and it makes you think they're about to take the next step, and then they can't quite get there. How do you break that cycle of when inconsistency becomes consistent?
Yeah, you just keep working and pursue quality. That's why I don't try to, jump them or belittle them. If it's a good move and a good shot, and it's not there, say, okay, I just challenged that. I said, you guys in practice, if we've missed it, be more intentional. You put that much more focus, get some extra reps, figure some stuff out. Some of the stuff you have some responsibilities. There's a practice time. I'm gonna get with a couple of managers, and I'm gonna take 5 extra minutes or whatever, and just go to work on those things and do that. So you spend a little more time, and you keep challenging, keep encouraging, and keep knocking on that door. And hopefully, like I said, we'll get better and improve. I think the guys, I think in some ways we have improved. Again, we are, but at least the quality of the shots, and that's what you kind of look at. And then defensively, speaking a little bit too much probably without having a feel for the tape and all that, but it's probably enough said.
Yeah, you've done pretty well against Wake over the years. How much better is this team than some of the other ones you faced?
They, the young man from Wisconsin's a talent. Williams, Alondis, I'm not sure I pronounce his name, but Williams is very talented, and you can see that. And then the young man, I think Jake from Indiana State, those guys, you can just tell how they play. He's really improved through the transfer market. I think they have some guys that are either fifth-year seniors or in their year, and certainly it's a different team. And Musius has been there for a while, so they know Walton is I think a fifth-year or fourth-year transfer from Colorado. Their experience showed good size. They play hard. Coach Forbes does a really good job coaching them up. And again, their talent level has jumped up for sure.
Tony, if you'd like to address the foul calls on Kihei, which were a little close, I'll let you, but I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, it's all right. The heat of the battle is frustrating, and I've got the benefit to see something up there. And, he probably could have teed me up when I thought we got an and one on that. Probably wasn't. I was just excited. But as I said, when it's a back and forth game and a bucket here or a call here or there, you feel that was, didn't go your way, you feel it even more because you maybe don't have that make-up power, in terms of off the dribble. So I just thought there's some here and there that it's all part of it. I mean, I respect them at times. I disagree with the officials at times, but that's part of the game.
How did you think the offense, though, ran when he had to go to the bench?
Good, I did. I actually thought that's where I thought Cody and Armand and Reese, they were moving and trying, getting some rhythm shots, and that's where, boy, if you could have balanced it the inside out, but there were good looks, and I thought that was encouraging to see for sure.